Alright, guys, we are currently learning Masachet Megillah Daf Vav. We're going to start from Daf Hamud base in the bottom. Alright, Sadi Shmaya. Amar R Yehoshua, Ki Avina Talia Amina Milsa D'She'il L'Savia. When I was young, Talia when I was young means when I was young. When I was a youngster, I asked a question to the older people, and I realized that I was right, that whatever I asked, my question was a good question, I had a good point. So R Yehoshua is telling us a little bit about himself. What is he saying? So this is what he said as a young kid. Chamat, right? Chamat, Zu Tveria. The place called Chamat is Tiberias. But Lama nikra shma Chamat. Why is it called Chamat? Al shum Chamit Tveria. Because Tiberias is a hot place because of the hot waters. Rakat. What is a place called Rakat? Zu Tzipori. It's a place called Tzipori. But Lama nikra shma Rakat mishum demidalia kerakta denaira. Because Tzipori is placed on a mountainous area, like a rakat. A rakat is a rakta de nahara. It's a place where the river starts from a high spot and then it goes downwards. So the top of the river area is called a rakta de nahara. That's why Tzipori is called a rakat. Kinneret. What is the land called Kinneret? What is Kinneret? Kinneret zuginoy. So it's the place called Ginosar. Why is the Kinneret called Ginosar? Because its fruits are as sweet as the Kinneret, as a canary. Canary is, I believe, the violin or one of the drums. Here, let me see if I have the picture here in the book. 1 second, guys. Here, let's see how he translates Rabbi Steinsaltz. How does he translate this? He calls it, I'm sorry, a reket is a harp. A harp, that's what it is. Okay? So it says the fruits are as sweet as the harp sounds. That's why it was called Ginosar. It's called Kinneret because Kinneret is Kinnor. Kinnor is a harp. All right, sorry for the extra time. Rava is Cholak and Rav Yochanan. He says, wait, of course Reket is not Tzipori. Reket's got to be Tiberias. Why? How does he know this? When somebody dies here in Babel, Hacha means here in Babel because Rava lived in Babel. Hossam over there in Israel. This is what they would do a hesped for him. What's a hesped? A hesped is when we cry over the dead. Gadol hu b'sheishach. So they would say for a person that was a great Talmid Chacham, they would say like this. Gadol hu b'sheishach. He was very big in Bavel. Sheishach is Bavel. V'shem lo b'rakat. And he had a great name in the city of Rakat, which is Tiberias. V'chimaski aron el hasam. And when they would bring the box that he was in, the dead bodies inside a box. When they brought the Aron over, they would over to Israel because everybody would usually get buried in Israel. They would say like this: Ohavei sridim yoshvei rakat. So we see from here that reket omek means it bubble because it's deep. So we see from here that reket is bubble. It says the Gemara: a guy started crying over his dead body and said like this: Eretz Shinar haravi yoldo, land of Shinar, which is Bavel. Haravi yoldo gave birth. Eretz Tzvi gidla shashua. In the city of in the land of Tzvi, Eretz Tzvi is always a reference to Eretz Yisrael. Gidla shashua. Oyna lo amro reket ki yidak lichem dasam. So we see it again that the verbiage that reket is reference to Tiberias. Ela marabe Chamat. What is Chamat? We have a new pshat. So we have a new pshat in all these three cities. Chemet. What is Chemet? Zu Chamei Gerar. Reket. What is Reket? Tiberias. Zu Tveria. Kinneret zuginoy. So ask the Gemara, but nikra shma Reket. Why was it called Rakat? Right? Reket, Rakat. I don't know how the exact verbiage is, but why was Rakat called Tiberias? This is a very cool idea. That even the people that were empty, that seems like they were total Amarites in Tiberias. Not nowadays. Nowadays everybody's actually Amarites there. But in the olden days, people in Tiberias, they were actually very big Talmid Chachams. Even the people that were empty, Rek, like Reket, they were actually full of mitzvahs. That's why Tiberias was called Reket. So now actually, I'm thinking about it, it makes more sense to call it Reket and not Rakat. Alright. Rabbi Yirmiyah Amar. Rav Yirmiyah said, Reket Shema, its name, the name of Tiberias is actually Reket. So its real name is Reket, not Tiberias. Now why was it called Tiberias? Because it sits in the middle of Eretz Yisrael. Tiberias is in the middle of Eretz Yisrael, so it's called Tiberia, like Tibura, the middle. Okay, next piece. Rabbi Amar Reket Shema. We have a new explanation. Why? So now it's called Reket. Because there's great views there in Tiberias. So there's such great views, so we call it Tiberias. Tiberias, Tiberias is like Tova. Tova, Tiberia, same thing. It's got a good view. Amar Zireh. Kitron, the land called Kitron, so Tzipori. It's Tzipori. Tzipori was on a mountain. It was a very mountainous city. Why was it called Tzipori? Because it sits on the top of the mountain like a bird. Alright, wait, it's Kitron Tzipori. Kitron was in the side of a Zvulun. And when they distributed the portions of Israel to 12 pieces, so Kitron landed on the tribe of Zvulun. So we see that Zvulun inherited Kitron. Now, why is this relevant to us? So focus with me. It says in the Gemara, "Uzvulun mitraem al midotav hava." What does mitraem mean? Mitraem means he was sad. He would complain about it. It's to complain. Leitraem means to complain. So Zvulun would be mitraem al midotav hava. Shene'emar. Well, and how do we know that he was complaining about his portion? Shene'emar uzvulun al am cheref nafsho lamut. They wanted to kill themselves. People in Zvulun wanted to kill themselves, not literally, but idealistically, because they hated their portion of land. It says the Gemara, Matam, why were they so depressed? Because their friend, their brother Naphtali, he got sadeh. Sadeh is a land. Because he got land and it got nice fields, they didn't want to receive mountainous areas. They wanted fields. Okay? And here the Gemara is going to explain what exactly happened. You gave my brothers fields. You gave me only a bunch of mountains and valleys. You didn't give me nice fields. And my friends, my brothers, they got land, and I got oceans. What can I do with an ocean? It's not like nowadays where we have good technology. What can you do in the old days with an ocean? He says, God answers to Zvulun, you think I got you? Actually, you should thank me because all the chilazon is the worm or fish that produces tcheles, the blue color that we have on our tzitzis. It comes from the chilazon. What the chilazon is a machlokes rishonim, but it comes from an animal called the chilazon, creature called the chilazon. Shene'emar, and how do we know that Zvulun got the chilazon? It says in the verse, Shene'emar amim harikro usfune tmunei chol. Okay, guys, we have three things here. Again, sfune tmunei chol. What are these three things? Tani Rabbi Yosef. Sfune, the first thing is a chilazon, so they got tcheles. Tmunei means tarit. Rashi says it's a tuna fish. Chol zu schuchis levana. It's a special kind of glass. So you see that Zvulun have all the tcheles. He asked, but wait, maybe people are going to steal from me my tcheles, so what's the point of having it? Because people can just go into the ocean and steal it, because the chilazon comes from the ocean. Anybody who steals from you will not have any success in their business. That way, that's going to force them to buy it from you, Davka. Now, let's get back to our sugya. So what did we say earlier? We said earlier that Kitron is Tzipori. So says the Gemara. If you believe that the city of Kitron is Tzipori, why was he complaining? Why was Zvulun complaining that if he inherited Tzipori, why is he complaining? Tzipori is a great place. The Gemara is going to explain why is it a great place. If you want to say that Tzipori is lacking the zvas dvash, which is milk and honey, like all the land of Israel is always promised a lot of milk and honey. I saw, says Rish Lakish, I personally saw zvas dvash Tzipori. If you want to say that okay, yes, so there is a good portion of milk and honey in Tzipori, but not like the other lands of Israel. Says the Gemara, "Bama Rabba Bachana Rabbi Yechon Didi Chazali Zos Chavdash Lechol Agad Yisrael." Rabbi Babek Mi Beikube Ad Aker Detul Bakni. Esrin Vetartin Parsei Urko Uputia Shita Parsei. What does that mean? So Rabbi Bachana is saying that he saw all the honey and milk of Eretz Yisrael, and it's as much as a distance from the city of Kube all the way till Akra Detul Bakni. It's a different city. How much was that entire territory? Esrin Vetartin Parsei Urka. So it was 22,000 pras, okay, in its length. And putia means a width. Width means putia. Shita parse, six parsa. Okay, so it was very. So the Rishonim say that it's around an eighth. According to that measurement, that means that Tzipori was an eighth of all of Israel's milk and honey. So that's a humongous amount. So what are they complaining for? Tzipori is an amazing land. Why do they feel bad for not getting fields when they've got this world-class piece of property, right? It's like somebody who has a Lamborghini and is complaining that he doesn't have a Rolls Royce. Like, dude, right? So that's the Gemara. No, afilu hachi sados ukramim adifalei. Still, they would rather have sados ukramim. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's more straightforward and easier to access than having mountains and valleys. How do we know that this tachlis was their complaint? Even though there was lots of milk and honey, how do we know that this was their complaint? We see their complaint was that they didn't have a field. Yes, not that the brothers' portion was better, but that the brothers' portion was a field, and they didn't want a mountain and a valley. They wanted a field. Shmamina. Okay, okay. So we just explained that this land of Ekron is Tzipori. Next piece. Sorry, Kitshon is Tzipori. Kitshon. Now we're talking about a new place called Ekron. We had Kitshon, we're talking about Ekron. Ekron will get destroyed. What does that mean? So it's reference to the Edom. Kisari of Edom is the land of Edom that was bothering the Jews in times of the Greeks. According to Aruch, not Shir, Shed. So when the Chashmonaim beat the Greeks, they also beat these Edomites, and they called the area Achidat Migdal Shed, or was the place of demons. What does it mean in the verse? In Zechariah, so the Gemara will explain what this verse means. What does that mean? Toso says it's the place where they daven. So in churches and all these cathedrals, we're going to destroy them in times of Mashiach. Also the same idea. That there's going to be lots of, in times of Mashiach, there's going to be lots of shuls in Chutz La'aretz, in Europe and America. There's going to be lots of Torah also in Chutz La'aretz, not just in Israel. So it says that the Aluf will be like Yehuda and the Ekron will be like Yevusi. So we already established that Ekron is Edom, right? So the Gemara explains, that even in these places that are churches, they're going to be convert into shuls, and places of Tuma are going to become places of Torah. Like we see nowadays, America is full of Torah, and that's basically a very big sign that Mashiach is very, very, very close. Okay. And Rabbi it up. It says in the Gemara, times of Mashiach, people all around the world will suddenly be very Torah-oriented. Jews will be very Torah-oriented in places davka that are very, very tameh, like America, like Europeans. Leshem. It says in the verse Leshem. What does Leshem mean? Zu Pamias. That's the Jordan River. Ekron Teoker. Zu Kisari Basedoim. Sheita Metropolin Shel Melachim. So it said that Ekron will get destroyed. What was Ekron? Ekron was a metropolitan of kings. What is a metropolitan shel melachim? So the Gemara two options. You can have the Malbi b'Malchei, place where they grow kings. You can have the Malchei, place where they anoint kings. So either grow kings or anoint kings. Now the Gemara continues. Okay, so now if somebody tells you about Kesari in Jerusalem, okay, the opposites. Kesari is the capital of a city of Italy, which is Tameh, very, very Tameh, and then we have Jerusalem. So if somebody tells you Chavushtayin, Al-Tameh, if somebody tells you both got destroyed, don't believe him. Yashvushtayin, don't believe him either. Al-Tamin. But if somebody tells you Chava Kisari v'Yeshva Yerushalayim or Chava Yerushalayim v'Yeshva Kisari, ta'amen, shneimar imala hacharava. If someone tells you that they're both equal, never believe them. It's always going to be one's going to be good, one's going to be bad. Okay? How do we know this? We have a verse. It says in Yechezkel, Imal'ah hacharava. One will go up and one will go down. Talking about if Jerusalem is good, then the Goyim are bad. If the Goyim are doing well, then the Jerusalem is going to do bad. Imal'ah zu charav azu. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar Holchet. It says in the pasuk, Ulom elom ye'imatz. Amar Rav Yitzchak, what is this? What is this? Okay. Next piece. Amar Rav Yitzchak, Ma dichtiv yuchan rasha ba lamed tzedek. What does it mean, the verse in Yeshayahu that we say, Yuchan rasha ba lamed tzedek? It says the Gemara, Amar Yitzchak lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitzchak Avinu, he said in front of God, Ribono shel olam, Yuchan Esav, have chen on Esav, have mercy on Esav. Amar lo Rasha, what do you want? He's a Rasha, I would have mercy on him. Amar lo ba lamed tzedek, there's nothing righteous you can do say about him. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Amar lo be'eretz nechachot yavel. He's going to destroy Israel. If I have mercy on him, he's going to destroy Israel. Amar lo im ken bal yireh geut Hashem. Okay, fine, then you don't have mercy on my son. Mamar Yitzchak. We have another quote in the name of Rav Yitzchak. Mamar Yitzchak. Mai dichtiv al titan Hashem me'avei rasho zimamot apek yaromu sela. What does it mean? The God in the verse of Tehillim, King David is saying, don't let the goyim do their evil will. Zmamo al tafek. Zmamo is the thing that they have on their nose. It's the ring that slaves or animals have on their nose to hold them stable, to put a ring in their nose. Says the Gemara. So again, I'm reading it again. Saying that Yaakov said in front of God, don't let Esav do his wicked will. Zmamo al tafek. What does it mean? Zmamo, his nostril, his thing in his nose. Don't let it loose. What does that mean? It says the Gemara, Zu Germania shel Edom. This is Germany. Don't release Germany, which is the center of Edom. Why? The Graz Gores of the Nun, not the Mem. Why? It makes more sense because Germany, we know nowadays it's called Germany, not Germany. It says the Gemara, Shirmalei, if the Germans were allowed to do what they wanted and weren't stopped by the people, they would have destroyed the entire world, which we know is historically absolutely true. And this was said around 3,000 years ago from the times of King David, 2,900 years ago, more or less. It was in Nevuah said that a group of people called the Germans would come and they would try to destroy the entire world. Fact. That's on ink and in the Gemara. There's 300 different sergeants in Germany. Talking about, the Maharsha says we're talking about angels, we're not talking about actual humans. There's other 365 different kinds of lower level sergeants also in Germany. Every day they fight and one of them dies. So they're always busy with each other. That's why they can't attack the world, because they're always busy with each other. Somebody says to you, somebody says to you, I learned a lot of Torah. I worked hard. I did that for Yomi. I sat learned day and night, and I wasn't matzliach. I couldn't learn. I didn't know. I could never figure out Gemara. Don't believe him. Somebody says to you, I didn't learn it all, but I figured out the whole Shas. He's also a liar. Somebody says to you, Yagati umatzati tamen, believe them, because that's the only way to access Torah is by hard work. Any other way doesn't work. Only hard work. Don't expect to become a Talmid Chacham and just sit and daven or cry and get good sleep. You have to work daily, very, very hard. Okay. Says the Gemara, but Hani really, this whole idea of working hard is only only makes sense in the Divrei Torah. Only in regards to Torah. Avad v'masamat, in regards to business, you're working on a degree, if you're working on anything, any way to make money, siyata min shmaya, even if you don't work that much, or you work a lot, it's not going to absolutely be the reason if you succeed or fail. Okay? So even if somebody works really hard in their business, it could be that totally fails. And if somebody doesn't work at all in the business, it could be that totally succeeds. So money is more sort of dishmaya, but Torah is all about hard work. The more hours you put into it, the bigger Talmid Chacham you will be, and it's assured, not debatable. Okay. Says the Gemara, and even when we're talking about Divrei Torah, what do we mean by Divrei Torah? Says the Gemara, if you want it, also in regards to Torah, it's only if you want to be lechadet, to become a lamdan, to know how to learn. To become a good learner, you need to work hard. But to memorization is also set to Shemaya. The Rizal also says that a higher neshama has an easier time memorizing. That's what I heard once. If you ever saw a Rasha, that he's having good luck. Okay, Sham means he's having good luck. אל תתקרבו, don't mess with him. שנאמר, אל תתחב במרעים. ולא עוד אלא שדרכיו מצליחים. He also, everything he does will work. Yes, you're hearing this correctly. A rush, everything he does will work. שנאמר, ירחילו דרכיו וחולט. ולא עוד אלא שזוכה בדין. Even his fights that he has in court will also succeed. שנאמר, מרום משפטיך מנגדו. ולא עוד אלא שרואה בשונאיו, שנאמר, בעל צורריו יפיח בהם. Ask the Gemara, are you sure? ואמר רבי יוחנן משום יוחאי, מותר להתגרות ברשעים בעולם הזה שנאמר, עוזבי תורה יעללו רשע ושומרי תורה יתגרו בם. התנא רב דוסתא בן מתון אמר, מותר להתגרות ברשעים בעולם הזה. So we see that you're allowed to bother Rishayim and go against them. You don't have to be scared of Rishayim. We just said previously that you have to be careful of Rishayim that are having success. Now the Gemara is saying that the Rashbi is cholik, and this Rashbi says if you're a tzaddik, and not even if you're a tzaddik, if your enemy is a Rasha, don't worry, attack him, go full force. Yeah. Somebody brings you the previous verses that we brought earlier. He's just a scared person, which is why he's using these verses as an excuse. Says the Gemara, so he explains the verses differently. So tachlis, guys, what do we do with the stira? One opinion is saying that it's okay to attack to go against a Rasha. The other one is saying be careful of Rishayim, don't fight Rishayim. So the Gemara, 3 different answers. Answer number 1, lo kashya. If you're fighting him about life ideas, don't mess with him. Don't fight with him about properties and businesses and medical ideas. Don't. But if it's a fight about Torah, yes. If you're fighting about Torah, then don't worry about the Rasha. You will definitely succeed. Second answer, if you're a tzaddik gamor, if you're a chassid and you learn Torah lishma, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you learn Torah lishma and you're not a tzaddik gamor, then you have to be careful not to attack a Rasha because he can beat you. Okay. Wait, I skipped something. 1 second. Yeah. No, I didn't skip anything. דאמר רב הונא, מה דכתיב, למה תביט בוגדים תחריש בבלה ושאר צדיק ממנו? צדיק ממנו יבולע, צדיק גמור אין בולע. So that a tzaddik a Rasha can be somebody who's more of a tzaddik than him. What do we see? That the guy is a tzaddik only in comparison to the Rasha. Not that he's a real tzaddik. So we see that Rishayim only have control over tzaddikim, but not over chasidim, which is a tzaddik gamor. It's the same thing. Okay, third answer. Sham misacheket leishayni. Sham misacheket le, when a Rasha, you can go up against Rashas. But a Rasha that's having success during a period of time, always be careful of him. Alright, next piece. Says the Gemara. Amar Ula, said Ula. Italia Levan Zekach Gedosh Romi. Italy is the main capital of Rome. והבי קלאס מהפרסה, על קלאס מהפרסה, ויש בו שס השווקים כמינים מותחמה ויש בקטן שבכולם של מוכרי עופות. והבי 16 מיל 16 מיל. ומלך סוד בכל יום באחד מהם. The king of Italy walks around the shuk every day in one of these shuks. There's 365 different shuks. The king is rich. He likes handing out money to people. People that just live in Italy, even though they're not born in Italy. Yeah. What's a beibani? Are showers. There's 3,000 open shower houses in Italy, which is very prestigious. One side of Italy is water, one side of Italy, צידו אחד הרים וגבעות, צידו אחד מחיצה של ברזל, צידו אחד חולסית ומצולה. What is חולסית and metzula? It's, Rashi said, it's a makom avanim dakos. It's a place where there are sharp stones. Okay, says the Mishnah. קראו את המגילה באדר הראשון נתעברה השנה, קוראים אותה באדר שני. So there's a halacha that we need to make, we do an Ibor Shana, Ibor Chodesh. We can do 2 Adars. Yes, if Pesach's not going to land on summer, which it needs to, it's required to land on summer, so we push Pesach, we push our Pesach off for a month and make another Adar. It's called Adar base, Adar Sheni. So we have Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni. And which Adar do we read the Megillah? Do we read the Megillah in Adar Rishon or in Adar Sheni? Says the Mishnah. Karut Megillah Badar Rishon. Somebody reads the Megillah in the first Adar. V'nit'abra Shana. Says the Mishnah, you have to read it on the second Adar, not on the first. Reread it on the second Adar. The only difference between the first Adar and the second Adar is Kriyas and Megillah and Matanos le'evyonim. But Mishlach Manos, you can do the first Adar. But on the second Adar, that's when you do Kriyas Megillah, and that's when you do Matnos Evyonim. Says the Gemara, what do we see from here? The fact that the Mishnah says the only difference between first and second Adar is Kriyas Megillah and Matnos Evyonim, right? What is Siddur Parashos? So guys, look at Rashi. Rashi, the first Rashi in the Gemara, I'm reading to you guys the Rashi. It says Rashi, Siddur Parashos, Parashat Shkalim, Vezachor, Vepara, Vechodesh. So these are the 4 parshas we read every Shabbos in a different week. There's 4 weeks in Adar, right? It's a month. Every Shabbos we read a different parsha. So and there's Allah, you need to read these parshas. So what's the Allah if you read these parshas on the first Adar? You don't need to read them on the second Adar. That's proof from the Mishnah, because the Mishnah is only saying you move in regards to Megillah and what's it called? And Matnos Evyonim. So the Gemara, who's the author? Mani Masnisin. Who's the author of this Mishnah? So the Gemara says, Lo Tanakama, Lo Rabbi Yossi, Lo Rashbag. It cannot be not Tanakama, not Rabbi Yossi, not Rashbag. Who are these 3 men? Why do they contradict the Mishnah? So listen carefully. We're going to see here 3 different opinions in when we read the Megillah when there's two Adars. The Tanya, says the Brisa, Karut Megillah be'Adar HaRishon, V'nitabra HaShana. They read the Megillah in the first month, first Adar, then there's a second Adar. Karinot Adar Sheni, we have to reread it on the second Adar. Why? Shekol mitzvot shonagod b'sheni, nagod b'rishon, chutz mikol Megillah. All the mitzvahs that you can do in the second month, you can also do in the first month, but you can outside of Kriyas Megillah. Kriyas Megillah always has to be on the second Adar. Right? So the Gemara, that's Tanakama's opinion. So we already see that Tanakama only believes in Kriyas Megillah. What about Matanos Levyonim? Why is there no mention of Matanos Levyonim? Because against our Mishnah. So Tanakama, this Brisa that contradicts our Mishnah. Second Shita, Rabbi Yossi Omer, En Koren Otah be'Adar HaSheni. We don't read the Megillah on the second Adar. Shekol mitzvot shenagod b'sheni, nagod b'rishon. He says we only read the Megillah on the first Adar. So that's obviously going against our Mishnah, because our Mishnah said that they read the Megillah on the second Adar. Here he's saying we read on the first. Okay. Rashbag Omer, Mishon Rabbi Yossi, Af Koren Otah be'Adar HaSheni. Says Rashbag, we read it also on the second Adar. Why? Shekol mitzvot, all the mitzvahs, shenagod b'sheni, and nagod b'rishon. Any mitzvahs that on the second Adar, you can't do on the first Adar. Veshavin, all of these 3 opinions. So Rashbag also holds that we read the Megillah on the second of Adar, but there's no mention of Matanos Evyonim. So Rashbag as well cannot fit the Mishnah, because the Mishnah said that Matanos Evyonim we do on the second month. Rashbag said only Kriyas Megillah. Veshavin, everybody agrees that you can't fast or do hespeds on both Adars, right? On the Purims of both Adars. Says the Gemara, a question. Rav Shimon Gamliel and Tanakama. Rav Shimon Gamliel and Tanakama both said what? What did they both say? They said the same thing. They both said that you read the Megillah on the second Adar, not the first Adar. So what's their machlokas? Amar Rav Papa says Rav Papa, Seder Parshas Yigibenayu. The Seder Parshas. What are the Seder Parshas? We already explained this in Rashi in the Gemara. It's the 4 parshas that we read in every single Shabbos and Adar. And what's the difference? Tanakama Sova Lechatchila B'Sheni. You should do Lechatchila on the second Adar. V'yavud Barishon Avud. But if you did them on the first Adar, it's okay. But outside of reading the Megillah, so Tanakama says that you can do. It's better to do Seder Parshas on the second month. You can also do it on the first month, outside of Kriyas Megillah, and that's Tanakama. Now the Rabbi Yossi Savar. Afilu mikra Megillah lechatchila berishon, and according to Rabbi Yossi, we do even Kriyas Megillah we do on the first. So obviously we do Seder Parshas on the first. He says that you have to do Seder Parshas Dafka on the second month. Ask the Gemara of Mani, who's the author? So now we're going to re-explain what I just said earlier. Who is the author of our Mishnah? Says the Gemara, if it's Tanakama, Kashya, Matanis, because it says in the Mishnah we bring Matanos Evyonim, and Tanakama says we don't do Kriyas Megillah. That also doesn't. It's impossible. Why? Because Kashya and Mikol Megillah. Because and Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yossi is saying that we read the Megillah on the first, and the Mishnah says we read on the second. That's the Gemara. Kasha Siddur Parshos. So the Parshos makes no sense, because Rashbag says that we need to read the Siddur Parshos on the second month, and the Mishnah, our Mishnah, we said only Kriyas Megillah and Matanos Evyonim you need to do, but Parshos you can do on the first month. The Gemara is going to answer who the Mishnah really is. So we're going to get 2 answers. Tells the Gemara, Lo'olam Tanakama. It's Tanakama of the Brisa. And Utana and Bigoris in the Brisa, Tana Mikam Megillah, but what did Matanos Evyonim? The Hobel Talia. So the Tanakama, really, when he said Chris Megillah, he was also referring to Matos Evyonim because, like we learned earlier in the Masechet, in Daf Dalad on base, we saw that Matos Evyonim and Chris Megillah go together. Okay, let's continue. Vibois the second answer. Olam Rashbag. The Mishnah is Rashbag. Umatnisim Chasurim Michasel. The Mishnah was missing a few words. Vochi Katani. Ein vein Arvasal b'Shavadav b'Shana b'Yudal Shavadav Shani. Ena Mikam Megillah Umatanois. Okay. Holinan Hesped V'Tainis Zev Shavim. So when we send the Mishnah that on the second in Adar we do Kriyas and Megillah and we do Matos Evyonim, we were saying Davka those two, but not what? Not what? What do we not need to do on the second month? Talking about Hesped and Tainis. But really, what about reading the Parshios, which we said according to Rashbag, you need to read them in the second month? Our Mishnah didn't talk about the Parshios, so that's why the Rashbag could happily be our Mishnah. Okay. By the way, when I said Hesped and Tainis, I think I made a mistake, because the Gemara says Ziv Shavim, as in we can do them in both months. Okay. But the Parshas we can also do on the second month, and just the Mishnah didn't talk about it. Okay. Amar Reb Chiya bar Rabbi Yochanan. Hilchos like Reb Shimon Gamliel. Halacha like Reb Shimon Gamliel. Shama Mishim Rabbi Yosi. That we read the Megillah on the second month, and we also do Mishlach Matanos Levyonim on the second month. And Seder Parshios we also do on the second month. Right? Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Now we're going to explain the Svara. What's the Svara of Reb Shimon Gamliel? What's the Svara of the people that go against him? Amar Rabbi Yochanan. So we have two explanations of Rashbag. First one. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Shnei mikra chadoshu. We said in the verse, B'chol Shana V'Shana. Rabbi Yisrael Savar, B'chol Shana V'Shana, Ma'chol Shana V'Shana, Adar Smuch L'Shvat, Afkan, Adar Smuch L'Shvat. Also here, we do Adar Smuch L'Shvat. That's why we read the Megillah on the first Adar, not the second Adar, because every year we read in the Adar that's closest to Shvat. B'Rashbag Savar, B'chol Shana V'Shana, Ma'chol Shana V'Shana, Adar Smuch L'Nisan, Afkan, Adar Smuch L'Nisan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Rashbag says the opposite. It says that we always, every year, last year we read the Megillah on the Adar. Which Adar? That was close to Nisan. There was only one Adar, again, but that Adar was close to Nisan. So too, if you have to pick out of one of the two, we're going to pick the one closer to Nisan. Says the Gemara, Mistaber Taimi, Svara makes sense. Why? That we read on the first and on the second. Why? There's an Isser to be, I don't know if it's Dorais or Darban. Rashi brings a verse in the Torah, but it's probably rabbinical. That you're not allowed to be over on a mitzvah. If you have a mitzvah in front of you, you can't leave it, do something else, and then go back to it. You got to do it, right? So it makes sense that if you've got to choose between Adar Rishon and Adar Sheni, we'd rather do Adar Rishon because it's earlier. But asking Gemara, what's the Svarela Rashbag my time? Because Rashbag says he'd rather do the second Adar, because the second Adar is talking about Geula, right? Redemption, and Nisan is obviously the month of redemption. New second explanation to Rashbag. It says in the verse, the word Sheni is telling you to do it on the second month. Says the Gemara, now we need both verses, B'chol Shana V'Shana and Hashenis, to know that's in the second month. Why? Says the Gemara, we would have thought that it's like our question, that we'd rather that you're not allowed to be over in a mitzvah. That's why we needed Kamash Mon Hashenis. And if we had the verse only of Hashenis, we would have thought that every time there's 2 months, we do on both months, right? To teach you that's only one of the 2 months. Ask the Gemara, wait, what does Rabbi Yisrael do with the word Hashenis? Because for him, it's certainly not teaching you to read in the second Adar, because he reads in the first Adar. Says the Gemara, bar Yehuda, he's telling you like this. And historically, in the beginning, they wanted to make Purim only in Shushan, and afterwards, Shenis, they declared Purim in the entire world. Okay, Shal Koach, we just finished Daf Vav in Masachet Megillah.